It is Obi-Wan Kenobi Wednesday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. Let's explore the latest iteration of Buddha's easy meditation. Hatha Yoga is a way of describing both mindfulness and meditation together as a team, the seventh and eighth folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. But just as a car, this is a luxury car what requires a good road. Hatha Yoga is supported by Anu Yoga's energy work. Now, there's many types of energy work. My favorite would have to be mudra or finger gesture oriented energy work. So let's explore how this works. We're going to play with a total of 4 collections of 12 sets of 12 rounds. I'd like to show you how that works using the jumbo cam. So let's begin with our right hand. Every time we breathe in, we advance our right thumb. So over the span of 12 inhalations, our thumb could count thusly. 1, 2, 3, always beginning with the little finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rounds. Remembering that a round is simply one inhalation and one exhalation. Because let's face it, if we don't exhale, you're going to turn blue, tip over, wiggle funny, and scare the dog. Well, 12 rounds is nice, but it's not going to... If we want to meditate for the better part of an hour, 12 rounds really won't be enough. So on our left hand, we can count 12 sets. Once again, beginning with the left little finger. 1, 2, 3 sets of 12 rounds. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sets of 12 rounds. But once again, that's only going to get us about a quarter of the way there. So for the remainder of the way, we keep track of 4 collections, and we keep track of those 4 collections on the great knuckles on the base of our fingers. We begin with the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger. And when we put these 2 hands in our lap, palms up so that our thumbs can happily count creases, something really interesting happens. It turns out that we wind up gently inviting our subtle energies to coalesce at an area described as the secret wheel in the region of our lower abdomen's bladder. Now, if that seems a bit difficult to keep in your head, don't worry. Repetition is the mother of skill. Come to these live streams once every 12 hours, and within a week or two, you could master this entire system. Despite the ravings of elitists, it was always supposed to be simple. And now we turn to the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation. We're going to start by exploring this through the lens of neuroscience, and it makes the most sense to first begin with what not to do. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, including humans, including meditation teachers. What could that suckiness look like? It looks like being rigid, fearful, controlling, superstitious, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. And what happens is when people like that, sometimes with the utmost of sincerity, give advice, they implore people to practice focus and analysis. They might not use those words. They might even mistakenly use the word mindfulness, but that doesn't mean they're using it correctly. If you and I go for a walk and we happen upon a steaming pile of doggy do, and we pull out a 3x5 card and write chocolate on it and gingerly rest the card upon the steaming pile of doggy do, does that really change the doggy do just because we've changed its label? So the problem is this: the only way to practice focus or analysis is to rely on discrete pathways such as those found in the medial prefrontal cortex and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. When we overtrain or overwork our prefrontal cortex, our amygdala gets stimulated. This almond-sized and shaped structure is the seat of both aggression and anxiety. How darkly ironic it is to receive what you hope are meditation instructions only to make your aggression and anxiety worse. That happened to a lot of the people I knew. Happened to me. Fortunately, the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex are not the only two components of our central nervous system. Every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we are wired to access the sympathetic nervous system found in the middle third of our spinal cord. This bad boy has evolved to help us notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly, which should already sound like the opposite of concentration. But what has it evolved to help us notice? Mind's antics, such as perception, seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, tasting, and the like. Actually, tasting, smelling, and the like. Such as emoting, intending, reasoning, recollecting, and imagining. Now, the most efficient way to practice all of these is to simply silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. That is the essence of mindfulness. How does meditation come into this? Simple. Every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we are already wired to access our parasympathetic nervous system, ensconced within both the lower third as well as the upper third of our spinal cord. This parasympathetic nervous system has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. In fact, when we physically relax in harmony with our exhalation, there is a way to relax in harmony with our exhalation that causes that which we perceived during our previous inhalation to fleetingly feel a trifle less solid, less permanent. Whoopsie, that is an error, isn't it? There we go. And less defining. And the easiest way to do that is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. And now you're ready to roll. Quick reminder, the moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy, Buddhist meditation, or their application, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. Why do we meditate? We don't meditate to control our experience. Controlling is not the way of the Buddha. Being laid back is the way of the Buddha. Why do we meditate? To help our cerebral cortex to stop opposing the therapeutic work of our autonomic nervous system and instead to cooperate with it. That's it. Amazingly, doing so makes us more peaceful, more joyful, more loving, more wise. Good morning, and if you've just joined me, welcome to this morning's live stream. We now switch gears. Well, yes. Before we switch gears, I guess it'd be appropriate for us to take 30 seconds for housekeeping. Let's see, how do we want to do that? This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. And now, let's get back to meditating. We now come to our second of 4 collections of 12 sets of 12 rounds. And if you missed that explanation, I'll give it to you right now. Upon our right hand, every time we inhale, we can advance our right thumb so that over the span of 12 inhalations, we could gesture with our thumb thusly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now this is great, but this won't even get us for 15 minutes. We'll be lucky if this gets us maybe 1 or 2 minutes. So we keep track of our sets of 12 rounds with our left hand, upon which we count sets of 12 rounds. Always beginning with the little finger, our first, second, and third set of 12 rounds, our fourth, fifth, and sixth, 7th, 8th, and 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th set of 12 rounds. And that'll get us about 15 minutes or so. But if you want to do this for the better part of an hour, we have to perform 4 collections of 12 sets of 12 rounds. And we do that by working with our knuckles. So what we're going to do now is rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, upon the tip of our left ring finger, and assemble these 2 hands palms up in our lap so that our thumbs might happily count creases. As we do so, we could notice our subtle energies gently coalescing in the region of our navel. The late Tulku Thondup explained that mindfulness was simply watching the mind vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. Watching mind do what? Watching mind's antics of perception. Seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. The most efficient way to do this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. The late Chagdud Tulku explained that meditation was simply relaxing into the nature of mind, which sounds terribly spooky. But did you know that there's a way to relax in harmony with our exhalation that causes all that we perceived during our previous inhalation to fleetingly seem a trifle less solid, less permanent, and less defining? Now, this is all fleeting, which means we shouldn't be surprised when the next inhalation, perceptions come rushing back in. That's fine. Perceptions are not our enemy. What we're doing is we are training our cerebral cortex to stop opposing our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems, but instead to work with them, so that we become so healthy and well-adjusted that whatever comes, we let it come, whatever stays, we let it stay, and whatever goes, we let it go. Of course, the most efficient way of doing this is to silently and mentally recite the one syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Welcome to this morning's group meditation. Allow me to get you quickly up to speed with a superficial explanation. The most efficient way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, thus helping us to notice vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, cognition, recollection, and imagination. The most efficient way to practice meditation is for us to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation. Doing so helps us to experience that which we perceived during our previous inhalation as fleetingly less solid, less permanent, and less defining. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist philosophy or meditation, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window. We come now to our third of four collections of our right hands, 12 rounds, and our left hands, 12 sets. We keep track of our third collection by resting the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger in our lap. Doing so induces our subtle energy to coalesce in the region of our heart. The most efficient way to practice mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. And the most efficient way to practice meditation is to silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb is during each exhalation. We've come now to our fourth of four collections of 12 sets of 12 rounds. And so let's answer the musical question: how do we keep track of our fourth collection? Simple. We rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap, palms up so our thumbs can happily count creases. Oh, let's see here. Doing so induces our subtle energies to coalesce at our crown. Whoops, that's an error, isn't it? Okay. So if you've just joined us, the key to mindfulness is noticing in a very special way. Noticing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly. But noticing what? Noticing mind's antics of perception. You know, seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, and the like, including emoting, intending, reasoning, recalling, and imagining. The most efficient and the easiest way to do this is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Now, what about meditation? Did you know there's a way to relax in harmony with our exhalation that causes that which we perceive during our previous inhalation to fleetingly seem a trifle less solid, less permanent, and less defining? It's as simple as this. It's as simple as silently and mentally reciting the one-syllable FREEBIES during each exhalation. So if you've just joined and you aren't sufficiently overwhelmed, well, I can fix that pretty quick. So I'm going to tap button, going to go over here and then tap button 4 and subject you to Jumbo Cam, which I'm told is pretty much a war crime. So every time we breathe in, we can count 12, we can advance our right thumb to count a total of 12 rounds over 12 breaths. Thusly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 will barely get us 1 or 2 minutes. So we can multiply that by 12 to get us about 15 minutes by using our left hand to count sets. And always beginning with the left finger, we can count 1, 2, 3 sets of 12 rounds, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sets of 12 rounds. All that while resting the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our hand. Now, if that sounds like I'm asking you to moonwalk while chewing bubble gum, that's because I am. But fortunately, repetition is the mother of skill. Come to these live streams every 12 hours, and within a week or two, you could master this entire system. It is my sincere hope that you found this to be beneficial. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately